If you care about making sure the guy you want to go on a date with, or the one you're currently going on dates with, desires to continue to see you as opposed to talking to you once and running for the hills, you may want to watch this. Let's talk about it. Hey ladies, Tiye Harris here with Total Love Makeover, helping the dateless woman and the woman who finds herself in dead-end relationships revive her love life. Here on this channel, I offer practical but real advice to help you attract, date, and keep the kind of love you really want. So if that sounds like something you want and need, be sure to subscribe. And if at any point you want to know more about Total Love Makeover, be sure to check the YouTube description notes below. Now let's jump in. We all hate when we meet a guy and things seem to be going well. He seems interested. Then all of a sudden, it's like crickets. We don't know what happened. We're trying to reinitiate conversation, bring back that spark, but somehow, somewhere, some way, he lost interest. Well, here are 4 things that may be causing him to bolt. Number 1, you're showing signs of seriousness way too soon. Not signs that you want something serious, signs that the two of you are serious. You guys talked one time, a half a time. Then you go saying stuff like, why didn't you call me last night? Wait, hold up. I'm sorry, what? So, who is she? I thought you were going to come see me. I've been trying to get in contact with you all day. What's up? You never contacted me back. I think a lot of times we think that if we had 1, maybe 2 successful conversations or a romantic encounter in our head, it's like, bingo, we're dating. But in reality, not really. Conversing with him in a manner or a tone like you're already together is a red flag because he doesn't know yet if he wants to date you. And unfortunately, not only have you shown through communication that you've prematurely thrusted him into that role, but when it's too early, it comes across as needy and imbalanced. Number 2, you're being too extra. Newsflash, men don't talk like us. In addition, they don't really need extra details all the time. So when you're just going on and on and on about stuff you didn't inquire about, you're putting yourself at serious risk of actually losing him. For instance, if he asks,
so do you have children?
And instead of saying, no, not yet actually, what about you? You say, I don't have kids, but my oldest brother has 2 boys, my other brother has a son, and my sister has 2 girls. So I have 3 nephews and 2 nieces, and they're with me like all the time, so it feels like I have kids. If I don't have one set, I have the other set, and it just like, sometimes I just take them all, but I love it. Right. Be cautious of whether or not you're just adding too many extra details and talking excessively. Because if that's the case, then being around you as a woman may take a lot of energy. So being around you as a man, he's probably just not going to want to listen or deal with it. So if you're on that date, looking at the menu, and he asks about what you're thinking about getting, skip well, I saw the chicken, I thought that looked good, but then I noticed that it had capers on it, and I'm not a big fan of capers, but I guess I can take them off, right? But then again, I saw the steak, and we are at a steakhouse. So besides the garlic butter, I'm thinking that might be a good option. You think so? Instead, just opt for this. The chicken looks good, but so does the steak. You have any recommendations? Number 3, you're complaining too much. I've said this before, I'm a firm believer that men want to be with women who seem genuinely happy, laid back, and fun. They also want to know that they can make that woman happy. When you complain about everything under the sun, you do not come across very likable or pleasurable. It's draining to be around someone who has a bent towards the negative, and this can also be one of those adolescent drama attitudes. What realistically is going to make you happy when you have complaints about your job, your family, your friends, your life? Like, what is going to make you happy? You even have a complaint about the ambiance. Why is it so dark in here? What's taking the waiter so long? This don't even taste good. If you can find virtually anything to complain about, then he can gather there's nothing stopping him from being the next item on your endless list of complaints. There's no reason for him to stick around to find out. Or it isn't popular, but it's real. You're preaching chastity to someone that's incompatible. If you're a woman who's decided to abstain from sex before marriage or engagement, or even before being in a mutually committed relationship, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And don't let anyone convince you that there is. But the reality is, while there is a subset of men who are okay with that and even aspire to implement that in their own romantic relationships, not every man is looking to be with a celibate woman. So if in the early stages of communication, you're talking about how you're not going to have a sex with a man unless he puts a ring on it, you're not going to have sex until you say I do, Perfectly fine, but understand that's going to turn some men off. You've essentially pulled the optimal rug from under their feet, and many men won't stick around to find out whether or not you're worth that investment. It's not wrong. It's just different. It's preference. That's not to discourage you. Yes, you're working with a particular subgroup of men, but it absolutely can happen. And there are men that want that too. My husband and I are proof of that. Did you like this episode? Make sure to like it and share. Of course, if you want to go deeper, jump over to totallovemakeover.com and join the mailing list I call The Dressing Room. Each week, remember, I'm giving a practical application to try, and these aren't tips that are shared here on the YouTube channel. Remember, you can have the love you want. Sometimes you just have to do something different to get something different. And if you're ready to do the work, girl, I'm more than willing to help you get there. Until next time.